Hey, for chapter 4, I once again am picking Publix, the company that I work for. I'm most familiar with their strategies and with their culture. With that in mind, looking at maintaining a competitive advantage through Publix all starts in who and how you hire. So, in the hiring process, I'm already looking for people who have experience in retail. That's going to help immensely if they've already worked in retail. All I need to really do is teach them the culture instead of the basics of their job. Of course, there's still going to be things that I need to train them on, but I'm looking for people who have experience in retail. And not only that, but I need to see if they're a good match with the culture of Publix. Publix is all about customer service. It's all about customer interactions and just your overall attitude. A big thing in Publix is they're not tolerant of people who are messy, I guess you could say. They're very big on cleaning, or just if you see trash, picking it up off the ground. And this actually happened to me, where I went in for an interview and there was trash on the ground, and they had purposely left trash there to see if I would pick it up and throw it away. Of course, I had been let in on this, so of course I threw away the trash, and surprise, I got the job. Not because of that, but I'm sure it helped. So you want to look for people that will pick up that trash, because they represent the spirit of Publix culture, you could say. So you want to hire based on experience and skill set, but you also want to hire based on, do they fit well into the culture of the organization? Now, how I train is going to depend largely on what type of job they have. So it's always best to do a hands-on approach. There's always going to be computer-based training, and that's okay, but it's not very effective in the long term, because typically people kind of forget online training. So a hands-on approach is best, especially if they haven't worked in retail before. Just having them shadow somebody who is experienced, having them explain the job and what it entails. It goes a long way. So you can't just drop somebody off and say, this is your job, do it. It takes a lot of following them around and making sure that they're doing things right. And once you do start to train them and they do pick up the correct habits, that's when you give them a little more agency and leave them on their own. A good way of training is to just let them do it themselves and correct them later. Because if you are following them around all of the time and shadowing them, they might not retain those habits once you leave. So it's important to see how they do once you're not there. So that's it for training. So we've hired the right people, they fit public culture, and they have the skill set that I'm looking for. I've trained them with a hands-on approach where I systematically make sure that they're doing the right thing, both in their presence and not in their presence. Now I need to determine how to narrow down what they're good at. This should really happen before training, because one person might be good in the grocery department and another might be good in the customer service department. So this is going to come before training. Now, after I've determined that they're a good fit for Publix in general, I need to determine what department they'll be good in. If they like a lot of physical, hands-on labor, then I'm going to suggest that they go into the grocery department. And if I kind of get the feeling from them they don't like that really labor-intensive stuff, I'll probably send them to be a bagger or a cashier, where they can kind of learn through customer service and working with different people. So you see, different personality types are good for different jobs at Publix. So after determining that they are a good fit for the company, the next step is to narrow it down by seeing if they do want to do that physical labor or not. So you can determine which department they'll go into based on some simple questions. Typically people will have an idea of how much work they want to do, and if you just ask them, are you a hard worker? They'll always say yes. But you can look at their experience and their history of if they have worked at jobs that are very labor intensive and how they did there, and you can make a judgment call based on that. You can suggest that it's a hard job. What I would do is say, this job does require a lot of physical work, a lot of long hours. Is that something you would be okay with? And of course they'll say yes, but you can kind of get a feel for the type of yes that they say, whether it's apprehensive or not. Because a lot of people, I believe, may not be completely honest about nobody's going to admit they aren't a hard worker, but you can tell how motivated somebody is based on the type of yes you get. So if I suggest that it's a hard job, and they say something like, oh yeah, that's totally fine, I'm used to that, I've done that before, I can look at their history and say, yeah, that they've worked hard in the past. But if it's their first job or anything like that, I might have them start in customer service as a bagger or a cashier, not because they don't work hard, but it's just a better entry-level job. So it's easy to narrow down who is good in what based on experience and their personality, and if you just think that they'd be better with physical labor or better with just working with regular people. Well, not regular people, but it's just a little more people-oriented since it is customer service. To motivate employees, there are a wide selection of tools. Publix offers stock in the company, and it's private, so the company is entirely owned by employees, and if you reach full-time, stock will just be given to you. There's also really great benefits, a little while after being full-time, you do get 2 weeks paid vacation, and you can get health insurance and dental, among other things, maternity leave, all that. And they offer some great benefits packages, and that's usually how they keep people. Well, that's part of retaining anyway. But, or I'm sorry, that is retaining, not motivating. The retaining part of it is the benefits package. People stay because there is stability in having health insurance and dental and 2 weeks vacation. Even if they don't pay you a lot right off the bat, those benefits are usually worth it. As far as motivating goes, it's not hard to move up in the company if you're a hard worker. You got to wait for positions to become available, but I would say the greatest way that they motivate employees is by offering a path to higher employment. And that's certainly what I've done, and that path is certainly there for people who want it. And I would say that as long as you follow the right steps, it's not hard to go into management, as long as you do your job well and you understand everything about it. So you hire the right people by determining if they have the right skill set and they're good for Publix culture. So they need to be hardworking, or they need to work well with people. Well, a little bit of both. They need to work well with people, and the amount of work that they're willing to do comes later. Determining the right job for them does have to do with how hard they want to work. And if they don't really want that physically oriented stuff, customer service might be the right job. So you can determine things that way. Training is all hands-on. making sure that they're doing it right, and both in their presence and not. You want to motivate the employees by offering a career path, and you retain them by offering them great benefits. So that's all for maintaining a competitive advantage at Publix by hiring the right people and making sure that they suit the personality of the company. Thanks.